Alright, Super Thracia chapter 23. This chapter doesn't want to work with me. This is my third time recording it. Anyway, first thing, bit of a cutscene. Travant talks to a couple people. We'll talk about that guy in a second. He talks to him, he talks to Augustus for some reason, and then he talks to one guy who looks like Manfroy at the very end of the cutscene. And then Altena shows up, she talks to him for a bit. And then it's Travant and Arian talking. I believe this is supposed to be the scene in FE4 where after speaking to Leaf, Altena goes back to South Thracia Castle and asks Travant if she's actually, you know, Quant's kid, and then he says yeah, and then Arian stabs her, but it doesn't kill her. And that kind of checks out given that the Chapter 22 ending cutscene had Leaf and Altena talk, but I can't really be certain given that, you know, the story isn't translated. Then just Leaf and Asphalt talking, and that's whatever. Now then, this chapter, Ooh boy, this chapter is, it's something. There's a whole lot of Draco Knights. This chapter is pretty much at the enemy cap, and it's all Draco Knights, aside from one bishop in the top right corner I'll talk about later. More groups of Draco Knights. First one, Bryce. He looks, that looks like a redone portrait of the guy who's used like 80 times in FE4. He's first shown as like Howard or something. He has the Daneslav and is otherwise just pretty dangerous. Standard fare at this point. Over here we have Valencia. Very fast, slowed down by the rune sword. Otherwise, I mean, we saw her in Chapter 19, she's not that much different from there. Over here, we've got Dean, he has a bolt axe, and he is no longer playable, now we just gotta kill him. He has worse weapon ranks than he does in vanilla. This hack's weird. Then, of course, lastly, down here, we have the man himself, Travant. He has the Shadow Sword. Interestingly enough, he runs away from the player. I don't know why, he just does. I'm sure it's explained in the story somehow. Then, truly lastly, on the throne, it's Arian. He has the Gungnir. He's a pain. But you know what? You don't have to fight him. If you've played vanilla FE5, you'll know how this chapter works, and specifically that once you place someone on the top of the hill, and then on that following enemy phase, an event will happen. But I'll talk about that event in a second. I'm going to talk about this top right corner first. These three houses give a bolt axe, and the bolt axe, I didn't really bring this up when we saw it on Grommel and Dean. But it's locked to Draco Knight Draco Riding classes, but Draco Knights can't use axes in this game. Instead, the bolt axe is just, they can just use it regardless. It's a weird situation, but they can just kind of up and use it. This house has a devil axe, and this house has a purge tome. The church that the bishop is standing on, it's weird in that you can visit it, nothing happens, but then you can visit again and nothing still happens, and you can keep visiting it. Like, it never really triggers an event. I've tried visiting it with several characters that I thought might cause something unique to happen, but nothing ever changed. So, if there is something special related to this church, I have no idea what it could be. Also, this guy has a berserk staff and a slave staff, because, you know, data staves, gotta love them. Now then, gonna move a few of these guys slightly out of the way so they're not in Draco Knight range. Then I'm gonna enemy phase and talk about the event then. Alright, yeah, enemy phase. In vanilla, what would happen is that Ced would pop out a Manster and kill the guy sitting on the gate with a Forseti crit. Here, it's the Manfroy-looking guy talking to Arian, and then, just like in vanilla, a round of combat starts. But instead of Ced getting a nice Forseti crit, Arian, I mean, he still gets a crit, I'll give him that, but it backfires and kills him because hack's weird. Then Julius has something to say about it. No. Taking his place is, as you may have seen in the battle, is a guy named Gaul. Gaul is, if memory serves, that's the name of like the original Opterian in FE4's canon. And he's a real pain. Let's put it at that. This guy, 99 health, that's a great sign. He also has 60 magic and 62 effective defense between the Help Lindy Tome and the Throne. He also, I mean, yeah, the Help Lindy Tome itself is ridiculously strong. He has 90 attack. He's a pain, you can hardly damage him, and he hits like a truck. As usual, Faval is your best bet to kill something of this durability, but we also run into the issue in that Faval tends to die in one hit to this guy. Like, the only way you can really make Faval survive a hit is either hope he dodges, or give him a bunch of life rings and magic rings so that he has, like, capped health and over 10 magic, because this guy is just a real pain. And Faval is really the only one who can deal substantial damage to him. He has Dane's Shield, which means that you can't use an Anima Slayer against him, really, and he has Nihil, so you can't rely on Luna. He's a pain. But that's really all there is to talk about for this chapter. There's no reinforcements, it's just the obscene amount of Draco Knights and Gaul being a pain, and, you know, like I said, Travant runs away. He's weird. That's it for this chapter, though. After this, 24, 24X, and endgame, then we're done.